Unionists suspend planned strike over fuel subsidy removal to negotiate further with federal government.
The federal government, the TUC and the NLC to establish a joint committee to review the proposal for any wage increase or award.
National Assembly approves 20 special advisors for President Tinubu.
The Senate approves the request of Mr. Presidency in C.
Saudi Arabia revs up exercise to welcome over 2 million global pilgrims after pandemic. Good evening and thanks for joining us on the Network News. I am Elizabeth Omori. Adiola Komiakere will be reading from our network studio in Lagos. Here's a reminder that our social handles are very active. Just follow us live on all our platforms displayed on the screen. The Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress have agreed to suspend a planned nationwide strike after constituting a committee to review 7-point frameworks. This is coming after a long session between the representatives of the federal government and the union leaders.
The federal government, the TUC and the NLC to establish a joint committee to review the proposal for any wage increase or award and establish a framework and timeline for implementation. The federal government, the TUC and the NLC to review World Bank Finance Cash Transfer Scheme and propose inclusion of low-income earners in the program.
At our joint date, we'll go into more specifics to make sure this knotty issue is resolved. Thank you very much.
All we want to encourage government is to take this seriously, because this government is just coming in. This may be the first agreement that is being signed by this government that was inaugurated on May 29 by President Tinubu's administration. So I want us to commit to get these issues resolved as soon as possible.
Is scheduled to meet on June 19, 2023 to agree on the implementation framework. And the presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 25th of February 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, has supported the removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government. Speaking with journalists in Abuja, he said Nigerians should be abreast with the gains inherent in the removal.
Right from the time I was a member of Jonathan's economic management team, I've consistently maintained that we need to remove subsidy, because for me it's organized crime. People were just stealing the resources of the country, and that crime has to stop. And I showed my own position in empirical data to show that the amount of fuel we consume is totally far ahead what we are supposed to consume. I showed it in data, comparing with countries like Pakistan, and it's very clear. So I maintained about its removal. And throughout my campaign, go and read my manifesto, I maintained about its removal.
The National Acting President of the Joint Health Sector Union, JHESU, Dr. Obinna Ogbonna, has confirmed the suspension of the strike embarked upon by members of the union. Dr. Ogbonna said the strike was suspended due to progress made during engagements with President Bola Tinubu. He stated that the health workers called a meeting shortly after meeting with the president, decided to call off the strike and gave a 21-day timeline to the government. And to speak further on the suspended strike is Comrade Martin Egbanobi, General Secretary, Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals, an affiliate of JHESU. Comrade, thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, can you tell us into some of the issues that led to your members embarking on the strike, which was suspended on Monday.
Thank you very much. The Joint Health Sector Union comprises of 4 registered unions in the health sector, namely the Medical Health Workers Union, the Nigerian Union of Allied Professionals, the Senior Staff Association, and then the Non-Academic Staff Union. Had issues over 10 years, especially the adjustment of the consolidated health salary structure with government, and successive administration within this period had promised to implement this adjustment of CONHES because in 2009, 2 salary structures were established for health workers. COMES, which is Consolidated Medical Salary Structure for the physician, that is the medical doctors, and the CONHES, which is Consolidated Health Salary Structure for other health workers. And the MOU signed upon the establishment of these 2 salary structure was that any adjustment on either of the salary structure would translate to the adjustment of the other. But in 2014, an adjustment was made on COMES, which is for medical doctors, but it was not made on CONHES. And JOHESU started the agitation for adjustment. And since that time, up till even now that we declare another trade dispute, nothing has been done.
Okay. All right, comrade, what agreements were you able to arrive at with the federal government?
Well, the Joint Health Sector Union, after declaring a trade dispute upon the issuance of 15-day notice as required by the Trade Dispute Act, we had invitation at the Federal Ministry of Labor, where the permanent secretary conciliated on the matter to apprehend the strike. And we reached a memorandum of understanding on those basic issues. Top of it is the CONHES adjustment. We have issue of pharmacist consultant cadre. We have issues that borders on omission of the payment of new hazard allowance. We have issues that borders on withheld salaries of some of our members in LUT, in JUT, and in FMC Owerri. We have issues that borders on upward review of age of health workers. And all of these were tabled for discussions during the conciliation meeting. And progress were made. Then that was on the 1st of June. Then on the 5th of June, which was yesterday, we met with the Permanent Secretary of Federal Ministry of Health, who also made a lot of commitments. And we agree on some timelines. After that meeting, that was when we had engagement with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who himself personally met with the leadership of JOHESU, led by the acting national chairman, Comrade Dr. Ubina Ogbonna, and one of our leaders too, Comrade Pharmacist Olumide Akintayo. And the president gave his words. He made a commitment that those issues raised in the trade dispute to be addressed. Then we called a meeting, a expanded meeting of our union. That same yesterday, we did a hybrid, virtually and physically, and we were able to agree on the suspension of the strike for 21 days.
All right, that's an ultimatum. Talking about the ultimatum, what does it entail?
Yeah, the ultimatum, that is a meeting our demands within 21 days, based on the commitment we've had. So the NEC in session, having reviewed the submission the leadership made to them, they said, based on past experiences, there's need for us to have a specific time for which these demands are met. So the strike was suspended on the basis that within 21 days, those demands put forward will be met.
All right, Comrade Martin, we want to thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and telling your side of the story. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, in other news, Senate approves President Bola Tinubu's request seeking approval for the appointments of 20 special advisors. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo tells us more.
This is the last Tuesday in the life of the 9th Senate. In the next 2 days, it will join the annals of history. Already, the Red Chamber is beginning to have the farewell feelings. Senators seen in groups taking pictures for remembrance. Shortly, the red carpet activities dissolved into the day's legislative business. Plenary commenced with President of the Senate Ahmad Lawan reading the first presidential request from President Bola Tinubu seeking the approval of 20 special advisors.
I write to request the kind consideration of the Senate to appoint 20 special advisors.
The urgency of the request required an accelerated consideration, and because there were no names attached to the request, Senate immediately approved it.
That the Senate approves the request of Mr. President CNC for the 20 is for his request on the 20 special advisors. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We feel that this is something that is of utmost urgency. He wants to appoint his advisors, but he needs our approval here.
Senate passed the Nigerian Police Pension Board Establishment Bill, which seeks to create a separate pension scheme for the Nigerian police, as it approved the report of its ad hoc committee that investigated alleged uneven distribution of loans to the 6 geopolitical zones by development banks.
Provide the legal and institutional framework for the establishment of Police Pension Board to administer the pension scheme for personnel of the Nigerian Police Force and exempt same from the contributory pension scheme.
The federal government of Nigeria, through the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, should take necessary measures to harmonize all its various financial interventions program.
I want to urge those who cannot meet the standard requirements of the Development Bank of Nigeria to go to other banks that may relax such requirements.
Senate stepped down the concurrence of the National Inland Waterways Authority Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023. The 9th Senate is to hold valedictory session on Thursday, the 8th of June 2023. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And in line with the provisions of Section 151 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, the House of Representatives approved the request of President Bola Tinubu to appoint 20 special advisors. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the communication was read at Tuesday's plenary, during which House members commended the organized labor for accepting the olive branch extended by the federal government, shelving its planned strike over subsidy removal.
I write to request the kind consideration of the House of Representatives to appoint 20 special advisors.
The communication containing the request is the first from President Tinubu to the House. It is seeking approval for the appointment of special advisors for the President to assist in the running of his administration.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria empowers the National Assembly to prescribe by law or resolution the number of such advisors and their remuneration and allowances. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it.
Meanwhile, the House has commended the Nigerian Labour Congress for shelving its planned strike over removal of subsidy as it opted for dialogue instead. The lawmakers urge government to implement agreement reached with labor unions. It is estimated that subsidy cost Nigeria more than $10 billion from 2015 to date.
The continuous payment of subsidies has significant implications for the economy and the allocation of the scarce resources.
Plenary was more like house cleaning, as about 60 outstanding reports from both standing and ad hoc committees were either passed or adopted. One of them is the report from the ad hoc committee that investigated the state of the 3 refineries in Nigeria and how much it will cost to get them back into operation.
If done within the time lag, the issue of fuel subsidy will be a thing of the past.
The House has few days left to cross the T's and dot the I's on what's left in the 4-year journey of lawmaking as the members prepare for the valedictory session planned for Wednesday, June 7, 2023. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
You're watching the Network News on NTA. Let's take a break. When we return, more reports to stay.
The rumor that our nation will break up even perish. They have even redesigned the maps. Yet we are here. We have stumbled at times, but resilience and diversity have kept us going, and we will keep going. As a citizen, we declare as one unified people, devoted to one unified nation, national cause, that as long as this world exists, Nigeria shall exist.
Nigeria means unity. Nigeria means freedom to me. Nigeria means greatness to me.
Nigeria is indivisible. There is nothing you can do. We all have to savage it together and learn to love each other. We are indivisible.
As a mother and a leader, I will always preach for peace and unity in this country, because that is the only thing that will give us progress. Though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand, and it is the woman that does that.
A peak protein breakfast gets you up to a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes through his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. That's because all day and every day, the peak goes on.
Start your day with a peak protein breakfast. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Looking fresh for your date? Get even fresher with Close Up. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula. It cleans deeply, fights 99% of bacteria, and cools intensely, keeping you protected and fresh.
Protected and fresh. Protected and fresh.
Let's take a picture.
Protected and fresh.
Still fresh, still protected.
Feeling cool and protected.
All day confidence to get close.
Oh yeah, take it close up, short close.
New Close Up Triple Fresh formula.
New beginnings are always colorful. When we celebrate the start of life's journey, we marry in colors. With our proudly Nigerian Dulux paints, now available in any color. Express your world however you want it. Visit a Dulux Color Center to get any color instantly.
Dulux, let's color.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. That's why I give him Born Vita for everyday vitality that gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Born Vita, strength to dream.
Are you a dealer in cars, jewelry, precious metals and stones and luxury goods? Are you into real estate, or are you an estate agent, surveyor, valuer, developer or broker? Are you into the hospitality industry, lottery business, or are you a mortgage broker, tax consultant, or an accountant? Do you have a supermarket, pools betting and consulting, or construction company? If you have, go and obtain your certification from the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, SCML, and be free to do your business within the ambits of the law. SCML has the responsibility to monitor, supervise, and regulate the activities of designated non-financial business and professions, DNFBPs, across the country. Please note that the SCML certificate is not a guarantee of legitimacy of any business. To register, visit www.scml.org. For collection of certificate, visit any EFCC office nearest to you. Remember, registration is free.
SCML, securing Nigeria's business environment. This message is from Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
You're still watching the Network News on NTA. The presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party and Labour Party in the February 25, 2023 presidential election, Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, have continued to give evidences at the Presidential Election Petition Court to prove their allegations of electoral malpractice in the election. Judiciary correspondent Austin Aibe brings us proceedings.
Commencement of Tuesday proceeding, counsel to Atiku Abubakar, Eita Ojogide, senior advocate of Nigeria, sought adjournment from the Presidential Election Petition Court to enable them tidy up their documents. The application followed the incomprehensive schedules of documents he sought to tender before the court. He moved to tender certified true copies of Forms EC8Bs from 10 local government areas of Kogi State out of the 21 local government areas pleaded in the schedules of documents, saying they are waiting for the remaining ones from INEC. This move did not go down well with the court, who enjoined the counsel to tidy up his documents in line with the pleadings as agreed in the pre-trial report. To this end, the court granted his application and adjourned to Wednesday, 7 June 2023 for further hearing of the petition.
We have gotten some, we have not gotten the others, and we have issued the normal processes to compel them to produce these documents. Once we have them, we proceed. But we are comfortable with the speed at which we are going.
In another petition filed by Peter Obi of Labour Party, certified true copies of Forms EC8Bs, which are results from local government areas from 18 states, were tendered. These include Adamawa, Bayelsa, Benue, Kogi, Nasarawa, Niger, Ondo, Sokoto, Delta and Ekiti. Others include Imo, Kaduna, Oyo, Cross River, Edo and Akwa Ibom. The court admitted all of them in evidence, but not without objections from counsel to All Progressive Congress, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Further hearing on the petitions continue Wednesday, 7 June 2023. From the Court of Appeal, Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a federal high court presided over by Justice Inyang Eko has awarded a 20 million naira fine against Chuks Unwachuku, a lawyer representing 5 FCT residents in a suit seeking an order to stop the May 29 swearing-in of President Bola Tinubu. Delivering judgment on Tuesday, Justice Eko struck out the suit on the grounds that the plaintiffs lacked locus stand to institute the matter. Justice Eko consequently ordered the lawyer to pay the Attorney General of the Federation and Chief Justice of Nigeria, listed as first and second defendants in the case, the sum of 10 million naira each. The 5 FCT residents include Anyam Egbunam Okoye, David Adza, Jeffrey Uche, Osang Paul and Chibuike Unwachuku had filed the suit through their lawyer for an order of the court to stop the inauguration of Tinubu and his vice Kashim Shettima. Justice Eko said Chuks Unwachuku, counsel for the plaintiffs, instigated the suit and merely got the plaintiffs to stand in as parties while he handles the suit as a lawyer, describing the act as unprofessional conduct. And the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, has dismissed the petition filed by the Action Alliance candidates Babatunde Ajala against Governor Seyi Makinde's victory. Ayomiku Ajibola has details of the judgment.
A 3-man tribunal in a unanimous ruling dismissed the petition and awarded a cost of 100,000 naira in favor of INEC and 250,000 naira each in favor of Governor Seyi Makinde and the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Earlier, Counsel to Action Alliance and its candidate, Etibo King, had informed the tribunal that the party and its candidate had decided to discontinue the case. He then urged the tribunal to strike out the case in the interest of the state.
We actually withdrew the matter in the interest of justice, in the interest of peace, in the interest of tranquility in Oyo State.
It will be recalled that Governor Seyi Makinde was declared the winner of the governorship election held on Saturday, 18th of March this year. But Action Alliance and its candidate approached the tribunal and called for the cancellation of the election result, owing to the alleged exclusion of the name of its candidate. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Away from the courts, INEC has published the final list of candidates for the governorship elections in Kogi, Bayelsa and Imo states, slated for November 11, 2023. The list shows that all the 18 political parties are fielding candidates in Kogi state, 17 in Imo and 16 in Bayelsa state. The list also shows that 2 political parties are fielding female candidates in Bayelsa and Kogi states. A statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festus Okoye, reminds political parties and candidates that, in line with the timetable and schedule of activities for the 3 elections, campaign in public commences officially on Wednesday, 14th of June, 2023. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu pours encomium on Mr. Abel Abo for making Nigeria proud on the global stage in the field of artificial intelligence. The Nigerian-born British artificial intelligence expert was recently appointed into the board of the Data Lab Innovation Centre, Scotland, United Kingdom. In a statement, President Tinubu notes with pride and satisfaction the impressive professional achievement of Abo in the United Kingdom and how his expertise and new board appointment represent an important step in the agency's efforts in enhancing Scotland's data and IA potential. The Nigerian leader pointed out that artificial intelligence, data science and machine learning will take center stage in the new global knowledge economy, and his administration will prioritize technological innovation as a means of creating better future for Nigerian youth, who will also be inspired by the career accomplishments of Abo. Money laundering, counter-terrorism and trans-border crimes are some of the challenges which the nation grapples with in recent times. In tackling these issues, the judiciary must ensure speedy dispensation of justice to combat these crimes. Judiciary correspondent Dele Atumbe reports that the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariowoola, advocates diligent prosecution of all criminal cases in the dockets of the courts.
In this, all are justices of the Supreme Court, those of the Court of Appeal, and judges of the Federal High Court. These judicial officers converge in Abuja to evaluate evidence in investigation, prosecution, and trial of terrorism, money laundering, and trans-border crimes. For the participants, their coming together is to enhance their capacity on current laws and procedures in handling money laundering, counter-terrorism, and trans-border crimes. The judicial officers pay attention to the probative value attached to evidence adduced in this gen of cases. They agree that their being up to date in terms of applicable laws will assist greatly in curbing criminality.
It will not be out of place to emphasize that there is a correlation between transparent and efficient judiciaries, stable economies, and credible international financial systems. This is because timely, transparent, and efficient adjudication, including enforcement of laws which curb terrorism and money laundering, among others, creates incentives for investor confidence and availability of robust credits from the international community, thereby encouraging higher levels of economic development.
It will be well on us to come together to forge a common front in combating terrorism-related activities and money laundering through the instrumentality of the administration of criminal justice system.
The judicial officers identify recent legislations such as Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act, as well as Proceeds of Crime Act 2022, will serve as vital tools in speedy dispensation of these cases. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Now let's talk natural disaster management. 43 critical stakeholders in flood mitigation are in Abuja to map out strategies towards effective flood mitigation and response. Permanent Secretary, Federal Capital Territory Administration, Olushade Adeshola says putting measures in place for flood mitigation is key, as hydrological agencies have warned. Safia Uche reports that FCT FEMA is the host.
Factors complicating flooding are alterations on the land during development, diversions of water from its natural source, blockage of water from its channels, improper waste management, and so on. Permanent Secretary FCTA Olushade Adeshola says synergy, advocacy, and measures must be strengthened to ensure no loss of life or property in this year's flood forecast.
The entire land in FCT is vested in the federal government,
there are no local lands. Area councils cannot allocate land. Chiefs have no land to sell. When you buy from them, you are likely to buy a problem land.
Director General FCT FEMA Abbas Idris says the plan involves the 6 area councils and flood-prone areas.
We are going to have a water training for our divers because they have been used to probably one river.
Critical stakeholders will come up with more mitigative measures, more than what we put in place last year.
FCT FEMA says attitudinal change on the part of Nigerians will go a long way in changing the narrative. The stakeholders' resolution emphasized stronger collaboration to mitigate flooding. Sophia Uche, NTA News.
Now, it is estimated that every year each person on planet Earth consumes more than 50,000 plastic particles, and many more if inhalation is included. This was made known at the 2023 World Environment Day celebration at the UN House in Abuja. Adebola Brooksland Sunday was at the event.
Every year, more than 400 million tons of plastic are produced worldwide. Of this production, 50% is designed to be used only once, with less than 10% recycled. Available records show that an estimated 19 to 23 million tons of these plastics end up in lakes, rivers, and seas annually. This meeting is aimed at beating plastic pollution and spotlighting solutions to the menace. UN Resident Coordinator in Nigeria, Matthias Shemale, represented said plastic products create greenhouse gas emissions across their whole life cycle, and if no action is taken, greenhouse gas emissions caused by plastic could limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius.
From the beaches of Lagos to the shores of Lake Chad, our world is being swamped by harmful plastic waste. If present trends were to continue, by 2050, ocean will have more plastic in them than fish.
Discarded or burnt single-use plastic, environmentalists say, harms human health and biodiversity as well as pollutes the ecosystem from mountain tops to the ocean floor.
When we talk about incineration, you also have what? Greenhouse gas emission. So it's not a solution, at all.
We come together as business leaders, individuals, ambassadors, and advocates for a plastic-free and clean environment.
Together, we believe that we can beat plastic pollution and raise generations of eco-conscious children committed to a cleaner and a healthier world.
Without action, exposure to air pollution beyond safe guidelines will increase by 50% within the decades, and plastic waste flowing into aquatic ecosystem will nearly triple by 2040. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
This is the Network News on NTA. For more reports, let's head to Lagos, where Adiola is standing by. Adiola, let's hear from you.
Thank you, Lise. President Bola Tinubu announced the removal of fuel subsidy. This generated reactions from industrial players who say the jinx has been broken, as it is one step to curbing excessive spending, corruption, and will create free markets. They are hopeful it will trigger economic growth sooner than expected. Amaka Owo interacted with a cross-section of industrial players and now reports.
The removal of fuel subsidy has been an issue of national discourse, with several unsuccessful attempts by previous administrations to implement the policy, thereby spending as much as 400 billion naira monthly, as confirmed by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Experts across relevant sectors of the nation's economy say the present administration has taken the bull by the horn in the interest of the economy.
Our largest expense in terms of recurrent expenditure is subsidy payment, and what suffers are basic infrastructure, primary health care, education. I see those as avenues where these funds can actually be properly deployed to
We either remove subsidy with our eyes open or we remove subsidy with our eyes closed. Now, when I use the word with our eyes open is that it makes it easier for you to plan systematically towards it, and you are able to arrive at a position whereby we will feel the pain, you are able to control the pain.
The pronouncement, they also say, is of great significance as it led to bullish impact in the stock markets, the highest since November 2022.
And this is one step, an important step, but one step on improved economic management that's going to bring it to us. And just as a signal of confidence, I mean, the stock market increased in Nigeria by about 5% after Tinubu's speech, which just shows that people really have the sense that he's on the right economic path.
No doubt the subsidy removal is impacting the lives of Nigerians. They believe the government is not resting on its oars in that aspect. They call for collaborations in areas necessary to ensure that payments of fuel subsidy belongs to the dispensable past. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
While renewing its strategy of prioritizing prosecution of smugglers to serve as warning to will-be offenders, the Federal Operations Unit Zone A of the Nigeria Customs Service is rejigging its operations, the result of which led to the seizure of close to 10,000 parcels of cannabis valued at 427 million naira in Lagos. Michael Olaleye reports.
Rising to the demand of the tricky game orchestrated by smugglers led to the seizure of 79 categories of items in the last 4 weeks. But intercepting these 9,857 parcels of cannabis sativa along the creeks in the Lekki-Ajah area of Lagos is mind-blowing for the Federal Operations Unit Zone A. The acting controller, obviously worried by the power of drugs to influence crime, described the consignment as the single largest impounded this year, with a pledge to get to the root of the import, which source is traced to Ghana.
The vehicle, as you are seeing it, has no registration. We have made frantic attempts to get any document inside the truck, no single document. But the young man behind us here is helping us to get to the owner of the truck and the cannabis sativa.
The surest bet in going forward is the willingness of the customs to press charges once investigation is concluded, as recent convictions secured are propelling the unit to continue on this path. However, the unending tales of smuggling foreign rice using different means of conveyance is still a major issue, as close to 7,000 bags were intercepted in May.
For as long as they learn to go against the rules of the game, to go against the constitution, we have to go after them. And when we go after them, we'll pick them and jail them accordingly.
The Federal Operations Unit Zone A, however, reiterates the need for Nigerians to respect government's fiscal policy in order to expand the nation's economic base. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
We are done from Lagos. The network news will continue after this break in Abuja, but be reminded that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates to stay.
Our administration will govern you only on your behalf, but never rule over you. We shall consult and dialogue, but never dictate. We shall reach out to all, but never put down a single person for holding views contrary to our own.
Fighting here and there, we don't want it at all. Killing people today, tomorrow, we don't want it at all. And we don't want separation. You do your own, I do my own. Make you they go. Michael, no. We don't want that one.
We may quarrel and disagree,
but let it be on the table of dialogue. No blood, chaos, war, violence. Let us stand with our nation as one people. And we must also stand for the armed forces. They are our husbands and wives. They are our brothers and sisters.
Please support the armed forces,
whose lives are always on the front line to protect our nation. Nigeria is your own. Nigeria is mine. Nigeria is our own. Our uniqueness is in our oneness. Our oneness is our strength.
Efficiency and quality. National Center for Women Development. A home away from home. With our newly renovated rooms and conference facilities, the facility has a standard, single, and double rooms. We are second to none in Abuja and uncomparable to none. We also have a standby power source. Visit us today at the National Center for Women Development, Central District Area, opposite Central Bank of Nigeria Headquarters, Abuja, or telephone 070-511-1163, or visit our website www.ncwd.gov.ng. National Center for Women Development, rebranding, restructuring, and repositioning.
Our boss was like, a decent fashion designer only gets home at midnight.
Midweight.
Man like Osimhen, Papa just the chop Italian league like Oha.
These are real housewives of Abuja. Those women are fire. What does OJ say again? A relationship with money is alhamdulillah.
Because they wear uniform, you want to treat people anyhow. Imagine this officer, I will clear out one lie. Don't cost. Bruh, come on there. Things no matter. The biggest dragon for Westeros, now small pikin face am, climb am, ride am like Formula 1. Yeah, catch me.
He found the gold and asked her for just shaking a piece of the pie, and she killed him for it.
Obìnrin, fair women, no.
No one tells a story like we do. Showmax, Africa's original streaming service.
Nigeria means a lot to me.
And Nigeria means peaceful cohesion.
My country.
We continue to pray, and then hopefully we will come to understand that unity of purpose, unity of living together. Our ethnic beliefs and background and culture is our strength.
Ever since the amalgamation period of 1914 to date, about 109 years ago, the people of Nigeria live very peacefully with one another.
I think diversity helps a lot to enhance robust development in Nigeria.
All over the country, you have so many ethnic groups, over 250. That is enough to tell you that this is a blessed country, and God has kept together as one indivisible entity.
Glad to know you're still staying with the NTA. The usual annual Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia is being observed. Our correspondent Usman Aliu, who is also amongst pilgrims from Nigeria, reports that so far nearly 30,000 have been airlifted.
Large number of Muslims for Hajj pilgrimage increases daily in Medina and Mecca, the homes to Islamic holiest sites. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, only 1,000 resident pilgrims in Saudi Arabia were allowed. Last year, regulated number of 1 million pilgrims performed the Hajj. Now the restrictions are over. No masking anymore. New normals of the COVID-19 protocols are gone. Once more, a return to pre-pandemic time. The biggest world Islamic gathering is expected to to be attended by more than 2 million people this year. In Medina, the Muslims visit the holy mosque of Prophet Muhammad, pray and offer salutations. His grave is in the mosque, together with Abu Bakr and Umar, his closest companions. It is also expected that pilgrims pay a visit to the cemetery just outside the Prophet Mosque called the Baqi'ah, where other companions of the Prophet are buried. There are similar Islamic historical sites for the visit, such as Uhud. Some Nigerian pilgrims have concluded their stay in Medina and moved to Mecca. They performed Umrah, the Lesser Hajj. However, a pilgrim, an FCT contingent, Amina Abubakar Ibrahim, is detained by authorities at King Abdulaziz Airport in Jeddah because she lost her passport, which was later discovered after the flight that brought them returned to Lagos. Officials of the National Hajj Commission assured that the matter will be resolved as they make contact for the passport to be brought. There are many issues with some pilgrims with regards to vital international travel documents. Many of them do not understand the implications of negligence with such vital papers. As such, it is one of the major challenges Hajj officials are waiting to deal with. In Medina, Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
And back home, the life and career of former Executive Director Engineering NTA Stephen Okpanachi in both the radio and television have been nothing short of what many described as exemplary and huge success. In recognition of his contributions, he was honored with the Outstanding Standard Bearer Award by the Gala Broadcasting Professionals Radio Nigeria. Charles Alpha brings us details.
If anyone is to provide mentorship or look up to as a role model, Stephen Okpanachi, the immediate past Executive Director Engineering Services of NTA, readily comes to mind. His former colleagues from Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, and the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, at the presentation of award by the Igala Broadcasting Professionals Radio Nigeria, spoke glowingly of his creativity, innovation, and how he has used his time and talents in the industries to better the lives of others.
He's willing to sacrifice anything for others to have comfort. And if you are able to follow his steps, you will not stumble.
The only one representing NTA in Bonn.
In a society that is highly bigoted on narrow identity politics, who have you mentored?
I pray that your tomorrow will be better than your yesterday and today.
I used to be a telephone repairer in NTA, but in 2006, as chief engineer, I moved to deputy director engineering, and I can't claim I'm the best, but God singled me out for a purpose. I want to believe is the favor of God.
For the Gala Broadcasting Professionals, Stephen Okpanachi is a role model in many ways, in modern broadcasting and community, as well as a promoter of the Igala Nation. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Congratulations to our very own Engineer Stephen Okpanachi. Time for business, and always ready, a busy businessman, Benny Adams, has some reports. Benny?
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to business. The governments of Nigeria and the Netherlands have opened discussion on the need to modernize the bilateral investment treaty between both countries with a view to increasing trade and investment volumes, which as at 2021 stands at about $7.21 billion with 900 direct jobs.
We see a high potential in 4 areas in particular: agriculture, IT, healthcare, and renewable energy.
We are just about disposing about $700 million for fleet expansion in Nigeria.
On behalf of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that we are deeply committed to fostering the bilateral relations with the Netherlands, attracting foreign direct investment, and building a strong and sustainable economy.
Still on bilateral relations, Nigeria is set to further deepen trade and economic relations with the People's Republic of China. The move is aimed at building on the volume of trade between Nigeria and China, which stood at more than $12.03 billion as at 2021. This was as the Deputy Director General, Department of Trade, Ministry of Commerce of the People's Republic of China, Zhang Guanbin, paid the Permanent Secretary of Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Evelyn Ngige, a visit. Both countries agreed that Nigeria is a land of great opportunities with natural resources and favorable climates for industrial development, and these resources are available to be explored. Dr. Ngige noted that the ministry's pivotal role in Nigeria's economic development through the promotion of the non-oil sector, which has strengthened economic diversification, domestic and international relations, and a significant bilateral trade between Nigeria and China as well. Now, at the end of today's trading on the exchange, a total of 322.5 million shares in 6,165 deals, corresponding to a market value of 5.824 billion, were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, Monday, June 5th, today's data shows 13% decline in volume, 71% decline in turnover, and 15% decline in deals. The current market capitalization is 30.5 trillion naira. United Bank for Africa recorded the highest volume of traded shares, followed by Access Holdings and Guarantee Trust Holdings. That is Business News. Network News continues with Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Benny. Now let's take our last break. The news continues shortly.
We shall defend the nation from terror and all form of criminality that threaten the peace and stability of our country. We shall remodel our economy to bring our growth and develop the GDP much better than we have today. I assure you. Do that through job creation, food security, and an end to extreme poverty.
With total submission and gratitude to God for a life well spent, we announce the transition to glory of Mr. Tolu Ogunkoya, whose sad event occurred on the 25th of April, 2023. Burial events are as follows. Service of songs comes up at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, the Sanctuary, Tom Allen Center, Stratford, London, date Tuesday, the 6th of June, 2023, at 6:30 p.m. Funeral service takes place at Green Acres, Epping Forest, Kiln Road, North Weald, Bassett, Essex, United Kingdom on Wednesday, the 7th of June, 2023, at 11 a.m. There will be a night of tributes on Tuesday, the 13th of June, 2023, at Sheba Center, 20 Mobolaji, Bank Anthony Way by FCMB at 5 p.m. This will be followed by a commendation service on Thursday, the 15th of June, 2023, at the Chapel of Christ, The Light, IPM Road, Alausa, at 10 a.m. He is survived by wife, children, brothers, uncles, aunts, and cousins.
We're killing Maria slowly by sleeping with her husband. Can't believe you're showing almost no empathy to the death of your stepson.
I was here when you buried your 2 wives.
I was trying to protect my father's honor. You will die. Do not want Santiago on that project. You hear me? Enough! What did they worry you?
You will be stepping down as governor of Lagos State.
What?
Would invite you inside for dinner. But unlike you, I don't make stupid decisions. Lead the former governor of Lagos State out of my presence.
You have to move from the point where you protect and defend your religion
to a point where you also recognize the rights of the other person, of the other religion, and protect it. So if I am protecting my own territory and my own people and trying to emphasize their rights and protect their rights, I should also be thinking about how to protect the rights of the others.
Both Islam and Christianity recognize and defer to God, and both recognize the temporariness of the life of this world, and that ultimately we all go back to God for the day of reckoning, when everybody will render an account of his life on this temporary abode.
Vice President Kashim Shettima commiserates with the family of late Professor Opeyemi Ajewole, a renowned professor of social and environmental forestry who was gunned down by yet-to-be-identified assailants. In a statement, the Vice President expresses shock over the killing of the late professor who was his classmate at the University of Ibadan. He extends deep condolences to the family and the University of Ibadan masterclass of 1990 and prays for the repose of the soul of the departed. And the weather is getting friendlier. Let's find out if there would be a need for an umbrella tomorrow.
Welcome. We expect the next few days to be very busy as significant amount of rainfall is expected across the country. This satellite shows band of weather systems which is expected to keep the north and parts of the central cities active with thunderstorms activities, and it's expected to be accompanied with strong winds which can be destructive. Morning thunderstorms are expected to affect most parts of the northeast, including parts of Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, and Jigawa in the northwest, extending to parts of Plateau, Nasarawa, FCT, Niger, and Kogi. Thunderstorms are also expected to affect parts of Ebonyi, Enugu, Anambra, and the southeast coast. By afternoon, we have better prospect of thunderstorms as widespread thunderstorms are expected across the southern half of the country, extending to most parts of the central cities and the northern region. I'm Safia Hassan Musa. Thank you for watching.